Hello, this is John here, and today I'm going to be talking about inflation in America specifically. I'm not an expert in other countries. So, inflation is one of the most prominent issues that is hurting the American lifestyle, and today I seek to provide a mostly objective review on the causes of inflation. Now, it must be said that due to the complex subject that is inflation, I will probably post a lot of follow-up videos that are going more in depth. This is mostly just a general overview of the things that are causing the inflation. So let's begin. Right now, I'm just going to outline the things that are afflicting the U.S. economy. Yeah, the massive increase in money supply due to the stimulus checks. You have supply chain issues brought on by the pandemic, employment, massive shortages of essential goods, and energy shortages. So first off, we have money increase. This was mainly caused by the government. The government stimulus check program. The intent of releasing stimulus checks was a good one, but the problem is they went way overboard, basically increasing money supply by over 40%. And this gave a lot of purchasing power to the normal American, which did keep consumer demand high during the pandemic. Now, this would be a good thing, this is a good thing. However, during pandemic, also production was at an all-time low due to COVID regulation. So basically, when you drive up consumer demand at a time when there's basically no production, you end up with a shortage of the good in question, and this leads to decreased shortages of supplies, and as such raises prices because it's more money chasing less goods. Pretty self-explanatory. Next, we have supply chain. I think everyone has at least heard of the supply chain issues, but this is mainly caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and the overwhelmed shipping industry. If you look at the data, the overall inputs of imports of U.S. goods have been steadily increasing, peaking around March due in large part from the surging consumer demand. This increasing demand has caused numerous problems, one of which being the port congestion. The port congestion is widespread across the west coast of the USA, as according to a new performance indicator unveiled Thursday by Kune plus Nagel. I don't know how to pronounce them, but anyways, cumulative container delays at the world's main ports are currently at 11.6 million TEU, or 20-foot equivalent waiting days, with 80% of global congestion occurring in North America. Now, for context, TEUs are basically just inexact units that shipping companies use to measure shipping capacity. And this is for context, like a normal level of congestion at the 13 points measured by the key performance indicator would be less than a million TEU waiting days. So this mass port congestion destroys the already tight schedules that these shipping companies operate on, and this represents itself in the massive freight rates. I mean, if you look at this graph, literally 5x increase. That is definitely leading to a lot of supply chain inflation in that aspect. Not to mention the massive shortage of shipping staff or shipping containers, which have contributed to the increasing freight rates brought on partially by the shipping congestion and the imbalance of shipping containers between where they are and where they need to be. I mean, take US and China, for example. Whenever we trade with China, it's about 40 to 100. So for every 100 shipping containers that enters the USA, only 40 get shipped back. Now, this actually used to not be a problem because, up until 2018, we sent our recyclables to China. But then China's national sword policy basically just said, yeah, no, you can't send your recyclables any here anymore. So for a few years, we basically just had shipping containers piling up in places in the USA shipping ports, taking up space. And this is an ongoing issue. We don't have a solution for this, and it doesn't seem to be sorting itself out anytime soon. So that's not helping. So next we have high employee turnover. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have heard of the term the Great Resignation. I mean, it's not actually the Great Resignation, but yeah. But anyways, it's been basically been caused in large part because of the massive amount of job reopenings following the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, in my area that I live, I see numerous businesses with the hiring sign, and it makes sense. The opening jobs has led to widespread increase in job choices for employable people. And as such, businesses have to offer better deals to employees to get them to actually work, higher pay, favorable working hours, that type of thing, so on and so forth. And as such, this leads to there being inflation in the average pay of lower skilled workers. And on the surface, this may seem like a good thing, and it kind of is. Like, oh, closing the wealth gap. Oh, but no, that it does kind of do that, but it makes normal goods completely unaffordable. I mean, because think about it, right? Like, so let's say you're a business and you employ normal people, and you see that the wages and the wages that you have to pay them go up. Are you really going to absorb the cost of increasing the wages of your employees? No, you're going to pass that on to the consumer, further causing inflation. So that, heavily impacts inflation. Not only that, but the high employee turnover is also reducing the amount of employees in very crucial industries. I mean, take manufacturing, which I think I mentioned before. But basically, manufacturing has lost a ton of jobs, mainly because people don't want to work in the industry. I mean, like millennials aren't interested in working in manufacturing, which makes sense. And because the companies aren't able to offer favorable working conditions and better pay, this has led to like mass exodus from the industry for most workers. And because of the high demand for employees, people haven't been able to they haven't been able to replace these employees, which is leading to a lot of inflation for a lot of the manufactured goods that we produce here in the US anyways. So next we have shortage of goods, essential goods, food, gas, manufactured stuff, sort of thing. So first we'll start off with food. Food was mostly caused by Russia-Ukraine war. Russia and Ukraine are both major grain producers, and like this has led to with the advent of the war, this has led to massive amounts of instability for food security for a lot of nations. I mean, like take Egypt for example. Because of the Russia-Ukraine war, they lost 80% of their grain imports. And this isn't specific to Egypt. Like a lot of European countries also felt the pain. Um, Next, we also have the oil. I mean, gas in this case. I don't think this is a surprise to anyone. I mean, like, I was literally in LA the other day and I saw like a 7.99 gas price for premium gas, and I was like, yikes! I do not want to pay that. Anyways, but yeah, like the thing about these goods that I listed, like these are fixed goods. You can't live without these goods. You need food, and a lot of people do need gas to, you know, drive to work. So when you have the massive price inflation of these goods, like uh, they say that food prices like have increased by 12%. I personally think it's more. But like when you have like double digit inflation for these essential commodities, it makes normal living like kind of impossible for a lot of people. So that's that. And then not only that, we also have the manufactured goods. Manufactured goods are like being crushed by the COVID policy in China. I understand the COVID policy in China is mainly to reduce the amount of COVID cases by like just shutting off everything. But this has led to like shortages of like a lot of things. I mean, like let's take you have Tesla. Tesla has this gigafactory Shanghai, which has been inoperable for most of Q2, which is basically does not allow for people to get their electric vehicles on time. So that's causing a lot of inflation there. It also disrupts supply chains because shipping companies can't get their manufactured goods to be sent because they're not being produced. So that's really tough. And last but not least, we have the very high energy prices. I don't think anyone's like surprised by this one. This actually kind of coincides with the shortage of goods, which I literally just mentioned. But energy is so crucial to the functioning of our economy that I just gave it its own slide. I think energy is increasing in price. I mean, Russia's not shipping us barrels of oil. I mean, like, hell, I think barrels of oil were like 107, 115, like were like the high like last week, and then like they dipped to like 107 on Friday. But basically, yeah, when you have energy prices that high, think about it, right? All of the things in our economy need energy to run. I mean, yeah, what a surprise. I mean, like, transportation, manufacturing, production, all of it, even personal use, using your appliances to watch this video, all that stuff, all of it requires energy to run. So when you have a massive increase in the input of that, you kind of screw over everyone. And then not only that, you also have the unsustainable consumption. I mean, I think I already discussed this at length though. So that's basically it. I mean, this was just a general overview on the causes of inflation and what like happens. This is mainly to demonstrate how complicated the inflation actually is, and to inform you how there's no easy solution. Okay, there is an easy solution, but you're not gonna like it. But I'll like talk about that in another video. So this has been John on Snorlax stocks, and I'll follow this up with another discussion, potential with potential ways to deal with the inflation. Signing off.